I shook my head, pushed myself up, and started walking out. Walking through one of the tunnels beneath the island of Demon Reach was always an experience. When I ran, I went by the mounds pretty quick. When I walked, the prisoners trapped inside them had time to talk to me. "Let me fulfill your every desire," crooned a silken voice in my head as I went by one. "Blood and power, riches and strength, I can give you all that you," promised the next.
"One day, mortal, I will be free and suck the marrow from your bones," snarled another. "Bow down in fear and horror before me. Loathe me, let me devour you, and I will make real your dreams. Release me, or I will destroy you!"
"Go to sleep, sleep and let me inside you." "Blood, pain, death, blood, flesh, blood, pain, death."
"Blogelslog, not Hagelflan."
You know, the usual. I skirted around a fairly small mound whose occupant had simply sent me a mental picture that had kept me up for a couple of nights the last time I walked by, and passed one of the last mounds before the exit. As I walked by, the mound's occupant projected a mental sigh and an unmistakable image of a man rolling his eyes.
"Ah, a new one."
I paused and studied the mound. As a rule, I didn't communicate with the prisoners. If you were locked up under Demon Reach, you were a nightmare, the likes of which few people could really understand. Immortal, savage, and probably foaming at the mouth, hair on fire, crazy to boot. But I'd been locked up almost as well as the prisoners for months, trapped on the island and in the caverns beneath. There wasn't a lot of choice. Until I got the thing in my head out again, only the island had the power to keep it in check. I had visitors sometimes, but the winter months were dangerous on Lake Michigan, both because of the weather and because of the ice, and spring had only barely begun to touch the world again. It had been a while since I'd seen anyone. So I eyed the mound, one about the size of a coffin, and said, "What's your problem?"
"You, obviously," replied the occupant. "Do you even know what the word stasis means? It means nothing is happening. You standing here, walking by, talking to me, for God's sake, buggers that up entirely, the way you novices always do. What was the phrase? Ah, yes. Piss off."
I lifted my eyebrows. To date, every single prisoner who had tried to communicate with me had been pretty obviously playing to get out, or else howling nuts. This guy just sounded British. "Huh," I said.
"Did you hear me, Warden? Piss off."
I debated taking him literally, just to be a wise ass, but decided that body humor was beneath the dignity of a wizard of the White Council and the warden of Demon Reach, thus disproving everyone who says I am nothing but an overgrown juvenile delinquent. "Who are you?" I asked instead. There was a long moment of silence, and then a thought filled with a terrible weariness and purely emotional anguish, like something I'd experienced only at the very lowest moments of my life, flowed into me. But for this being, such pain wasn't a low point, it was a constant state.
"Someone who needs to be here. Go away, boy."
A rolling wave of nausea went through me. The air was suddenly too bright, the gentle glow of the crystals too piercing. I found myself taking several steps back from the mound until that awful tide of feeling had receded, but the headache those emotions had triggered found me nonetheless, and I was abruptly in too much pain to keep my feet. I dropped to one knee, clenching my teeth on a scream. The headaches had gotten steadily worse, and despite a